everybody, I'm SkillsXHills27 and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Redstone Tutorials. Today we're going to be looking at, today we're going to be looking at the T flip-flop, the block swapper, and a few other things, as you see there, that will assist us in building these. Let's just real quick replace that block and get started. Alright, so we're going to show with a few things that are going to be seen in the T flip-flop and the block swapper that you're going to need to know a little bit about. So the first thing, not really in it, but let's not start with that. Let's start with the one behind it. So this is in it. This is generally used in almost every single circuit that you're going to see because it's like one of the most used things. It's simple and it's just so handy. So what it is it's basically an inverted signal. So last episode we talked about how there's direct signals and strong direct signals and things like that. Well, basically what happens is when I turn this lever on, this redstone is sending a direct signal to this block. Hence the torch turned off. Because basically what happens is when there's a torch on a block that's being powered, or the torch has to be on the block that's being powered, and if it's getting a direct signal or a direct strong signal, then the torch will turn off. So basically this isn't very useful as you see right now, but I'll explain to you how it works in the T flip-flop and in the block swapper later on in the video. But basically we just turn off the lever and then the light turns on. Turn on the lever and the light turns off. And you can see there's a little bit of a delay. And that's basically because if we see over here, you can see how this is the same thing, just the light is over further. And you can see there's another one. Because you know how there's a delay here? Well, the same thing's here. There's going to be another, let's go right here. There's going to be a delay. So this, what I've just made, is basically just a repeater within 7 blocks long. So every time you do this inverted signal, so this is one right here, and then we do another one right here. Every time you do that, it's going to get longer and longer. And this is a way that without repeaters, you can use it. But obviously, a repeater still needs 2 redstone torches, 1 redstone, and some stone, which is actually cheaper than making one like this. Plus, it consists of 1 block. This consists of many. But that's just to show you how it will have some delay. Just so you know, when you're using inverted signals, it's not going to be exactly correct. Now, this isn't used in our block swapper or our item in our T flip-flop, but this is basically used to make redstone compact. So what this is a redstone staircase, but instead you're using slabs, because basically how this works is you can see here this redstone piece here is connecting to this redstone. How's that working? Because basically this redstone, it doesn't look like it is, but it actually is connecting. Because when you put a slab over top of a connection like this, do you remember how if we were to put a whole block here, then the signal wouldn't go through the block? But if we put a slab here, the redstone can still go in that tiny little space here and still be able to go through. So pretty much that's just going that way. And I'm pretty sure this is directly intended, but it might just be something that's unintended that they just haven't fixed yet. But the fact that you can just put it up here, and then this, because it's facing in that direction, it's also going to be able to go up to this one, and so on and so forth. So this makes only a 2 block long elevator for redstone. So it's a 2x1 elevator. So if we were to flip this lever on, the light turns on, because we use this quick elevator, as we can see here, to get all the way up and into here. Now you're probably looking at this like, wait, why is that signal still going? Well, again, because this is a slab. So that little space is being connected by redstone. Okay, so I use that in my example for the T flip-flop and my block swapper, which we're going to jump right into now. Okay, so why don't we get started, and we're going to start with, let's start with the T flip-flop, because this is probably the simpler one of the two. Basically, this is what it does, is there's a signal, there's a redstone signal coming from a block, and basically what happens is these pistons will just move the block side to side like this, right? So because there's a redstone torch underneath, it's going to send a signal to that block, and every time that the piston moves in front like that, it's not going to have a signal. So if we were to go into redstone here and grab a lamp and place a lamp there, whoops, just one, and then press a button, then because the redstone signal goes through a block, it'll activate the redstone lamp. But the piston arm that's been extended doesn't count as a block, so it's not going to go through to the lamp. So this is basically kind of like a lever, but it's a lot handier, because a lever, if you send it a signal, it won't work, it won't work like this, because what you can do with this is you can connect it up to redstone and send it a signal from wherever, and it'll toggle the switch every time it receives a signal. Now, the next thing is the block swapper. But before we jump into the block swapper, I want to show you in here. One second. Okay. Ha! You probably just saw that. But basically, this is pretty much how you can use the T flip-flop for kind of like a basic sense. So this is the door. We've got a little pressure plate in front of the door. We walk in, and the lights turn on. And then, oh, the door is closed. Well, we can just open it using the pressure plate. We walk out, the lights turn off. Walk in, lights turn on. Pretty much how this works is using the T flip-flop. We can just grab that so we can replace it. Basically that signal is being activated by the pressure plate and going all the way out, all the way up to here, and then we use this elevator that goes up all the way up to here using the T flip-flop. Now instead of having a button here, we just have the redstone connecting here, and because it's just getting a signal, it's going straight and activating the lamps. But let's say, for example, we turned off the lamps, then see these turn off because the block moved over one. Now how this generally just works is quite different. One second, I just need to close that up. Come on, there we go. Okay, so it's quite simple. Basically, when you activate this button, because there's redstone on top, these two blocks here, these two green blocks here, are being activated from a strong direct signal, and that's what turns off the torches. Now, because these two torches are turned off, both the pistons will just get no signal for a second, and pretty much as soon as there's a block update, the piston that's extended will pull back. So as you can see, it's not going to pull back until the torch kind of turns on again, because what will happen is if this piston gets a signal once it's already extended, nothing's going to happen. But if we get a block update that activates that piston, then it'll pull back when there's no signal. So basically what will happen is these two torches will both turn off at the same time and both turn on at the same time. But as soon as they turn on, this piston is getting a signal and is getting a block update and having it retract, while at the same time, well, not generally at the same time, but about the same time, this piston is getting activated by the signal and pushing forward. And that's how it works. And now, since this piston's extended, it does the same thing, just on the other side. So this one will retract while that one extends. And that's how you make a T flip-flop. Next up, we've got the block swapper. So basically, you would just have this wall, and you would just see that purple block. And then, let's say we press the button, it turns into the red block. And then we press the button again, and it turns into the purple block. This is really useful for some things. And again, for my example, I'm going to use lighting as an example. So if we walk in here, let's just break that pressure plate so nothing happens. Okay, so these lights don't turn on. But what we can do is we can activate this, and now light comes in, because we just simply used a block swapper back here. So as you can see, we've got the pistons here for the block swapper. So what this does is it swaps the block to a sandstone block, and then when you want to turn on the lights, it swaps it to a glowstone block. Quite simple. Now let's just close this up. We're leaving the room, save power, so let's shut off the lights. And let's go up here. And let's take a look at this block swapper. It's the exact same, just instead of a button here, it's getting a direct signal from the repeater. Now, how this precisely works is, actually, I'm going to explain it over here, if I can fly. I'm going to explain it over here because it's a little bit more compact. You know what, I'm just going to do it over here. Anyway, sorry about that. Come on, go down. Anyway, stupid leg. So the components of this. First off, these pistons, all three are sticky pistons. That's important. Another thing that's important is that these repeaters, doesn't matter what tick delay they're on, just as long as those repeaters they're facing, and these repeaters are facing this block here. So they're taking that signal from the torch there all over to here. And the torch, there is a torch under there, and there are two torches, one here and one there. So underneath this piston and this piston are two torches. Now when you activate this button, it's using the inverted signal. So it's going to invert the signal and turn off this torch. Now because it's a repeater, its delay will hold the signal for 3 ticks, because I've got it set up as 3 ticks. The other one will only held it for 1 tick, because I had it set up for 1 tick. And it's going to hold the signal onto these guys. Now that means that this guy is going to turn off, which is going to pull this piston back. It's going to pull this red block back. Then when these turn off, then these guys, these red pieces of redstone will turn off, which means that this piston won't be powered. So it's going to kind of come back. So this is going to come back, this piston is going to pull back, which means that this is going to pull the red block back. And then the torch underneath right now is being delayed. If we look, it's being delayed, or being turned off with an inverted signal. Then it's going to turn on again, but this guy won't be able to go back out. Now over here, you've got the same thing. But this time, over on this side, this guy's not going to come back or anything. But when the torch underneath it goes on, it's kind of like this. Because this block's extended and this one isn't, this one won't extend the next time. This one will. So basically the red wool block will be out of the way. There's going to be no block in the center. And then when this piston pushes forward, it's going to push this purple block into the middle. And then at the last second, this first piston is going to push the purple block forward. And that creates a block swap. Now this could be really neat if you could actually move chests with pistons. But sadly, you can't. But one thing that I actually did in my Let's Play world, or in my world tour, sorry, is I made my ender chest, but I had a block swapper in behind, and the block swapper wasn't swapping the ender chest because ender chests can't move by pistons. It was actually swapping the block above it, because if you remember stairs, if you know this, stairs will actually allow you to open the chest. But if there's a full block above it, it's not going to open. But when you put upside down stairs, just looks like a normal solid block on the opposite side. So it looks the same, but when you flip the switch and it swaps the block, you're able to open it. Then you flip the switch again, and then you're unable to open it. So this is a kind of like another way you can do the signal, the T flip-flop, but the T flip-flop design here is much more compact, because here you could just have that be a redstone block and that not be a redstone block. But this one is much more compact, much easier, and doesn't cause as much lag. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been episode 2 of Redstone Tutorials. We've just checked out the T flip-flop and the block swapper. As well, we looked at the inverted signal, the homemade repeater, and the 2x1 redstone elevator. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.